Hi, my name is Ben, and I'm the CEO of Ascend Finance, where we help people understand how to rebuild their credit for free after filing bankruptcy. Now, bankruptcy can allow you to receive the debt relief needed, but you may come out of it wondering how on earth you're going to rebuild your credit score. We will show you today just how to get your credit back on track fast. So stay tuned, let's get started. Welcome to the Ascend YouTube channel, where we take complex topics such as helping people rebuild their credit after bankruptcy and put them into simple, human understandable language. Before we begin, I do want to let you know that it's really important to track your progress. You can use a spreadsheet or you can use one of the free tools that we're going to describe later on in this video, but it's really important as it can help motivate you throughout the process. So let's talk about what we're going to cover in this video. First, we're going to talk about those free tools that help you rebuild your credit after bankruptcy. Second, we're going to talk about tracking your progress to keep your motivation up. Third, we'd like you to understand what your credit score and report looks like after bankruptcy. Next, we're going to talk about how to think about and fix common bankruptcy credit reporting errors. After that, we're going to discuss, new credit opportunities to rebuild your credit after bankruptcy and after you fix your credit reporting errors. And finally, sixth, we're going to cover other credit opportunities post-bankruptcy. Now, you're probably looking at this list and thinking, wow, how am I going to get through all this content? I know for a fact I wouldn't like to hear me speak for that long, so we added chapters below where you can skip around to the content that's most relevant to you. I also like to watch my videos on 1.5 speed, so maybe that'll become useful as well. Also, if this information is helpful to you, I would love it if you subscribe or like the video. This is super encouraging to me, and it motivates me to provide additional unbiased content that helps you kind of rebuild your credit score and get out of debt cheaper, easier, and faster. Now, I want to jump right into the first thing: free tools to help you rebuild your credit score after bankruptcy. Now, when we started Ascend 4 years ago to help people get out of debt cheaper, easier, and faster, what we really didn't realize was that many individuals we spoke with didn't understand how to rebuild their credit within 3 months post-bankruptcy. So we built a free credit rebuilding portal to encourage you and help you track things so that you can build your credit again, not only quickly, but efficiently. The free tool only requires your first name and your email address, because I know there's so many things out there that require so much, and it can be found at tryascend.com/rebuild, or I included a link in the description below. And also, just for your reference, we don't send you unwanted emails and use the email address to send you your password, as we want to make the process as simple and easy as possible for you to use. If you don't want to use the free tool, that's completely fine. What I would recommend is that you use a spreadsheet to help you manage the process of rebuilding your credit. I just definitely encourage you to use something to track your progress, because it can actually be really motivating to you. Okay, so let's get started. The first thing to do is track progress for your motivation. In this video, we're going to use the portal just to kind of show you how everything works. But again, you can use whatever you like. The goal is rebuilding your credit. So second, tracking your progress is super encouraging to your motivation. Seeing your credit score increasing over time can be really fun. As such, tracking is vital. If you are using your portal, you can click on the begin tracking button below the graph. First, you'll add a discharge date of whatever it is, let's say 5/26/2022, your discharge credit score of, let's say, 550, and a goal score of 720. Now you'll see how the graph populates over time. You'll want to update this score weekly or semi-monthly to really track your great progress and the speed at how fast your score will increase. Third, you want to understand kind of what your credit score and credit report looks like after bankruptcy. It's important to understand what your credit score looks like after bankruptcy. In the portal, we provide two different options to access your credit score that are 100% free. First is Credit Karma, which provides a new soft credit pull every 2 weeks. And I believe they use Experian and TransUnion. But you can also get a 100% free government-sponsored credit score once a year from the 3 bureaus. And this can be really helpful to know what your credit score is post-filing bankruptcy that you can use for the portal above. Now, let's talk about what you're likely to see it's on the report, as it's helpful for you to both know how your credit score and your credit report will be affected. Your credit score report will have a bankruptcy filing information and the credit score number between 300 and 850 that will also be affected. First, your credit score post-bankruptcy. While it is true that your credit score may have decreased when you file for bankruptcy relief, the decrease is temporary. you should understand that there is an immediate effect you should consider with bankruptcy. We ran a debt settlement credit score simulator based on my FICO simulator many years ago to estimate debt settlement credit score impact, but unfortunately, we couldn't do the same for bankruptcy. Generally, the decrease in your credit score depends on your credit score when you filed for a Chapter 7 bankruptcy. If your credit score was good when you filed, you may see a more substantial decrease in your credit score compared to someone whose credit score was much lower. By the time many people file for Chapter 7, their credit scores are often already lower because of late payments and debt collections. One of our partner bankruptcy attorneys said that sometimes people file Chapter 7 bankruptcy and actually see their credit score increase after filing because of the starting point of their credit score. Each case is different, but there are some things you can do to help improve your credit score after filing, and we're going to cover all of those later. Now, the other thing to know is your credit report post-bankruptcy filing. Now, a study by the Public Interest Research Group found that 29% of credit reports contain errors. You should definitely consider assessing your credit report post-bankruptcy filing because it's important to know what's on there and what may have been affected after you filed bankruptcy. Now, it's wise to review that pretty often, maybe once a year or even sooner with the likes of something like Credit Karma, or there's other companies that do it. But here's some things that you should look for, after filing bankruptcy. Okay, so first, your report may look different for debts included versus not included in bankruptcy. Any account that you paid off before bankruptcy may be listed as paid and closed. The discharged debts will not get any additional monthly delinquency listings, which is beneficial because it was discharged in bankruptcy. And the amount of each of the debts included in bankruptcy will most likely have zero, and the month-to-month breakdown may not show that you are late after the bankruptcy you filed. The fourth thing, which is probably one of the most important things to do, is review your credit report and correct those errors. Before you try to access new credit, you may consider fixing any errors you see on your credit report. We're going to discuss 5 different credit reporting errors post-bankruptcy that we believe are the most common. Now, our credit rebuilding portal has a checklist that will allow you to check each one of those off when you complete them, and a place where you can dispute any of the errors that you can find with the bureaus. Let's go through the 5 credit reporting issues now post-bankruptcy. First, confirm that the discharged debts in the bankruptcy are listed with a balance of 0. Next, confirm former creditors are not pulling hard pull credit inquiries any longer. Third, confirm that charged off accounts are not reported after filing bankruptcy or after filing bankruptcy getting bankruptcy discharged. Fourth, confirm that reaffirmed accounts are reporting correctly. So reaffirmed accounts may be your car loan or something of that nature. And fifth, confirm that your spouse, if applicable, does not have a bankruptcy filing on their credit report if they did not file bankruptcy with you. So for each of those, you'll definitely want to see if that's applicable to you. And then we put a URL to each of the places where you can dispute with the credit bureaus to get those fixed. Now that you fixed these credit reporting issues on your report post-bankruptcy, let's talk about new credit opportunities that will help you rebuild your credit after bankruptcy. Now, each of these are going to help you rebuild your credit, and our portal actually provides different options for these new credit opportunities that we like, that have maybe lower fees or lower interest rate, or there's different attributes of that we like that you can access on our portal. Now, you may be wondering after we go through these where you can access these new credit opportunities, and we actually built an entire section on our portal at tristan.com/rebuild that will go through, and you can actually apply for these different opportunities directly from there. And we determine these companies because we like their fee structure or their APRs or their different things that we like about these cards. First, secured credit cards report good payment behavior to the 3 credit bureaus to allow you to rebuild your credit quickly. On the portal, you'll see various options that we like, but what we look for is low annual fees and low purchase APRs, and that they report to all 3 bureaus. Now, secured credit cards can be useful for improving credit after Chapter 7. You must place a security deposit with the company to cover your charges in case you default on the payments. You would use the card for small purchases and make all the payments on time. However, before applying for a secured credit card, you may want to make sure that the company reports the accounts to all 3 reporting agencies. If not, applying for the card may not help you improve your credit scores. Second, you can get a cosigner and become an authorized user. Many people file bankruptcy due to a life event that affected them negatively, but are still credit responsible. As such, you can become a cosigner or authorized user that can help you rebuild. You are essentially in this situation able to utilize your card owner's history so that if they pay on time and keep their balances low, your credit score may also rise. For this option, you may want to be careful who you choose. Third, creditor mix accounts for 10% of your credit score according to Experian. So getting a secured loan can also be beneficial. We have a link to a place where you can get it on our website, but a mix of credit opportunities could improve your score. And after determining you have the funds and your monthly budget to afford an installment loan, you could potentially consider a furniture loan or another installment loan. But be cautious when borrowing money after filing bankruptcy. You need to ensure that you can afford the payments, or you could be at risk of undoing the improvements that you have worked so hard to make rebuild your credit score. Now, with cards, similar to store credit cards, they may be easily attainable to help rebuild your credit, and they have looser potentially restrictions on who can get it. The challenge with these cards that you just want to look out for is to understand whether the APR on these cards is worth it. So for these cards, you may want to pay off the balance in full every month because the interest rate could be up to 29.9%. So just something to consider in the future. Finally, thanks for sticking with me so far. I know this is a lot of information. I hope it's helpful. But lastly, we're going to talk about just kind of other opportunities to rebuild your credit after bankruptcy. Now, these ones aren't necessarily new opportunities as much as they are kind of helping with existing opportunities. So first, maybe don't carry balance if you don't have to. One of the attributes about your credit score utilization is your debt utilization rate. Your credit utilization rate is your total debt divided by the total credit available. If your credit utilization rate accounts for up to 30% of your credit score, when you start rebuilding your credit score, you'll have a low credit available amount. Carrying a 0% balance will make that utilization rate quite low. Second, pay all the debts payments on time. Late and missed payments hurt your credit score quickly and substantially. Third and finally, make sure that you have an emergency fund. When you create a budget, make sure that you contribute to an emergency fund each month. You may need to begin with a small amount, but remember to increase that amount as your finances improve. You can start with an emergency fund of $1,000 according to Dave Ramsey, and then build it up to 3 to 6 months of expenses so that you never actually have to use your credit again in a way that could put you at a risk of financial hardship. If you have to use that emergency fund, then just try to replenish it as quickly as possible because the goal is to stay out of debt forever after you get out of debt cheaper, easier, and faster. Now, finally, you can do all of these things yourself. You don't need a company to help you improve your credit score necessarily. Often these credit score repairing companies after bankruptcy are often scams, and some of them they may even do unethical or illegal way things to improve your credit score. So it is best to put your time and energy in increasing your credit rating after Chapter 7 instead of trying to take a shortcut in any specific way. But it's just something to note because I definitely want you to be protected against any of those scams. Wow, thank you so much for watching this video. If it was helpful or if you'd like additional content, I definitely encourage you to subscribe or like, as it's really encouraging to me. I would love to hear any stories that you have about improving your credit score or any other kind of comments or ideas that helped you increase your credit score after bankruptcy. Thanks. I hope you have a great day, and I hope these resources were really helpful to you.